Good morning, my favorite little artist. I was experimenting the other day and I invented a way to do a project that uses observation by looking at something to do a landscape print. And remember when we talked about Monet or the artist Van Gogh, when they were working outside, they were the first people to paint outside and make landscapes. They had to work really quickly. So it made it kind of impressionistic, not totally realistic. And I think that's how this kind of turned out. This was my practice one. This was the first one I made. And it was super easy, kind of fun to do because you're going to be able to trace what you see. I used some markers and a little bit of garbage. So this was made on a piece of cardboard from a banana bread box. I baked banana bread on the inside of the package. It's all white. You could use tan or white cardboard, a scrap. You could try it with paper too, but I think the cardboard worked good. And you also need a piece of plastic. I just used an old plastic bag and my markers. So if you have those supplies, gather them together, follow the steps that I'm going to show you, and try your own impressionistic landscape. And when you finish, make sure you upload it to Artsonia so I can see what you did. Have fun. Okay, first you gotta prepare your materials, which this plastic bag that I'm using, I'm just cutting down the side of the edge. What we need is a flat piece of plastic. You might have something else at home, but this was the only plastic I had. And I am just cutting off the edges of it so I get like a nice big area that's flat to draw with. And I don't want writing on the part I'm going to draw with because I need to look through it. Okay, so you got your plastic on the window, and then you just start tracing over what you see. You kind of have to look at the object and not your drawing, not your plastic, but look past the plastic and pretend you're actually drawing on the tree or whatever it is you're looking at. I'm just starting with a brown. And you see how, like, if I move, my tree moves out of the space. You got to try to keep your eyes, like, at the same point of view all the time. And that's part of the thing about working quickly, like the Impressionists did, because things change. So you got to kind of work quickly to capture the landscape you're looking at. And it's not going to be exactly real, but it will look kind of cool. I'm just starting with a brown overall. And you might notice that when you draw with black, like my border here, this is black, but it looks green to me. But when I printed it, it came out black. It just looks green on my window and stuff. So I've been working on filling in more and more. I didn't exactly trace every single branch on the tree. Like, you got to kind of do it your own way, and it will look like a tree. It doesn't have to look exactly like that tree. If we want something that looks exactly like that tree, use a camera. Artists don't have to make things look exactly like it. Remember, this is our impression of it because this is impressionistic. That means, like, it's the way you see it. Whoops. So you're filling in whatever you want to fill in, adding colors where you want them. You might notice that you can't really go over top of something without smearing it. This wet ink on the plastic is going to stay wet for a little bit, so you have to maybe draw the things that are farthest away first and then work towards yourself. So that would be kind of like working from the top to the bottom, because the things that are at the bottom of your picture are the things that are closest to you. And as you go farther away, you get closer to that line. Remember that line? It's called the horizon line. So maybe starting at the horizon and working your way down, or starting with whatever is at the top of your picture and working all the way down is the best method. I'm going to finish coloring this in without the camera in my hand, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I finished coloring in everything I want to color. It's pretty gray today, but I put some blue in the sky because I wanted it to look that way. And now you're going to carefully take it off your window and take it over to where you have your paper. Okay, I just tried this by wetting the cardboard first and then tried to lay it down, and look at my cardboard. It's all curled up, so that didn't work. So I'm using the other side of my box, and I'm going to tape the edges of this down just a little bit so that it doesn't get out of control on me again. And what we need to do is wet this cardboard. We need to make it damp, but not like super wet. So I'm next to the sink, and I'm just gonna take a little fingerful of water, lay it on there, dry it off with a paper towel so there's no puddles, it's just damp. And you're gonna take the ink side of your picture that you drew, the side you were looking at, and lay it down on top of your cardboard. It's easier to do when you're not holding a camera. And then you want to push down gentle and make sure you do not move that plastic. You don't want it to smear. You just want to print. So it's like stamping it down and up. You can rub it with the paper towel, but just make sure you're not moving the plastic. I need to use 2 hands for this, so I'm going to rub it and then I will show you what happened. I rubbed it with my paper towel, and now here's how it turned out. Pull your plastic off. Voila, you have a print because the ink that was on this is now on your paper. And I really like the way they look. They look very loose and impressionistic, like the little strokes of color that we do with our markers are like the brush strokes of Monet and Van Gogh. I think they're pretty. Show me what you make.